How do we ask God or the universe for what we want? We're going to talk about this today. This is Tom Kieran with the Be Something Wonderful studio of Higher Consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Guys, welcome back. How do we do it? We've talked about prayer previously, but let's talk about this, the universe or God or the quantum field, the field of infinite possibilities, that substance, that awareness. How do we get what we want? How do we get our wishes fulfilled? How do we ask? So we've talked about that you can't petition the fields, you can't beg, you can't supplicate, because that all has that feeling of need and lack, in that you're asking something outside of yourself. So the way you do it is you become the universe because you are one with it. You become God because you are one with God. You become part of that quantum field. So you're not asking outside the field of the quantum field. You're not asking outside of God. You're not asking outside of Source. You are within Source. So how do you do it? Well, how do you communicate, really? That's what the question is, really, more than how you ask. How do you communicate with that field? How do you communicate with that consciousness? The way you communicate with that consciousness is with your thoughts and feelings. We talked about this at one time, that's the connection to create something out of that field of infinite possibilities. You've got to have the thought plus the feeling and the emotion. When you have that thought plus the feeling and the emotion, that is your creative power. That's the language that you talk. That's the language that you communicate with that divine matrix, or that field of infinite possibilities, or what we call God, right? You've got to have that power of emotion. It's what Neville Goddard calls feeling of the wish fulfilled. It's the power, it's asking from the power of the heart. If you remember, the heart sends out electromagnetic charges, currents, vibrations. And those vibrations go out into this field of that God consciousness. You will attract back. When you ask with thought and feeling, with that heart emotion, right, with that heart coherence, then you attract back to you what you want. It's those electromagnetic waves, but you're asking from the heart. This is it. This is the difference. You can think about what you want and not believe it. You can think about it and not really have your heart into it. But when you combine those two, remember, as Neville Goddard would say, you're asking as if your prayers are already answered. So you're not petitioning. You know you're part of that field. So you're getting in the state that you already have it, as if your prayers have already been answered. That's asking with your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. That's lining up, knowing that you're part of the field, feeling that you already have it, because you do already have it. If you are part of the field, you already have it. It's already there. It's already in that energy that is you. You've just got to draw it to you. So it's there. It's feeling then really equals prayer in this case, right? If we're talking about prayer, it's really feeling. You can think about it all day, but it's really that feeling. Greg Brannon, who's been studying the ancient texts and the mystical experiences and the science around it, would say that when you look into the divine matrix and you know that there's infinite amount of possibilities, then when you're looking to heal maybe a sickness, or you're looking for something that you want, you don't judge. It's important not to judge your choices that you don't make. So if you're trying to heal someone, for example, you wouldn't judge the illness as good or bad. You would simply say that illness is one possibility in the infinite possibilities of the quantum field, or that God consciousness. And I choose another. I choose health. This is the idea. This is how Jesus did it, right? He did not look at the illness. He did not judge it. He just chose again. He chose to see the health. This is what you got to do with all your choices. One of the things that slows us up, keeps us from our manifestations, is we judge the things that we don't want. So we're judging the things we do want as good. Neither judgment is necessary. It's simply a choice, because they all exist. As soon as you start judging something, you're putting your attention on that possibility, and that's what you'll attract. When you condemn, judge, push away, or resist, let me say this again. When you judge, push, condemn, or resist, This means that you're putting your attention on that unwanted thing, and then you start attracting it to you. It's whatever you put your attention on. So don't judge anything, good or bad, except its right to exist. Everything has a right to exist. In that infinite possibilities, it just is. It's not even a right. The field of infinite possibilities of God consciousness, God is everything. He's what you would consider the good and the bad, but it's not even that, because God doesn't judge, and he doesn't condemn because he doesn't judge. Why? Because they all exist as possibilities in the quantum field. So you've got to put your attention on the possibility that you want. That's why it's important while you're choosing, while you're feeling and thinking and feeling this emotion, that you line up with what you want, not with what you don't want. You could still line up with your thoughts and feelings on what you want, but if you're judging, if you have one eye on judging what you don't want, then again, you're split. You're splitting your energy, right? You cannot serve two masters. So you choose again. This is the power of how to ask the universe, how to ask God. It's thought plus feeling. It's asking from the power of your heart. That your heart has that electromagnetic field, that vibration that sends it out into the field of all possibilities and brings back to you what you really think and feel with your heart and mind. Right? Remember, we talked about this also in reality transurfing, where it's getting the heart and soul lined up, or the heart and mind. Right? This is the same thing, thought and feelings. All the great spiritual teachers say the same thing. It's the power of emotion. Jesus talks about it. There's a lost text. The lost text of Thomas will talk about this ancient text that was found. And it comes from the Gnostic standpoint. And these are what Jesus, it's more like statements that Jesus made to this figure Thomas. And we'll talk about this, but it's more of what we're talking about here. Jesus talks much more directly about this idea of attracting what you want, being what you want from this consciousness, that this consciousness is the creator. So guys, so the takeaway, thought plus feeling from the heart. Feeling is equal to prayer. Don't judge anything. Don't judge the good or bad. Don't even judge your choices. You're simply making another choice out of the quantum field. You choose that. You choose health over illness. You choose wealth over poverty, right? You choose abundance over lack. It's the choice. You don't condemn lack. You don't condemn poverty. You don't condemn illness. Those are simply choices that exist in the quantum field, because the quantum field, God is everything. God is the all in all, the Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end. And then let that God energy go to work and bringing it to you, and you'll be surprised and delighted, right? Because if you knew, then you'd be able to predict it, right? If you knew, then it would be, if you knew it happened, you'd be predicting the outcome. You don't want to do that. You want to leave it open so you can get it any way, in any path as possible. But you don't want to narrow it and limit it. This is what we talked about when we were talking about the teachings of Neville Goddard, where we condition our desire. Don't condition it. Simply choose, and then let go. Right? Put your heart and thoughts and feelings and your heart into it, and then let it go. We'll talk more about this, guys. This is Tom Kieran with the Be Something Wonderful studio of Higher Consciousness in San Diego, California, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Don't forget to subscribe. We love new subscribers. We love all subscribers. Hit the notification bell, share, and comment on the video. That's how we get our message out. Until next time, guys, this is Tom with Be Something Wonderful. See you soon.